If you spend much of your time in front of a computer screen, both size and resolution matter. I find that on a 24-inch Full HD display, the pixels are too large, and on a 32-inch 4K, the pixels are too small. For me, a 27-inch Quad HD hits the sweet spot when it comes to size and resolution, giving me a pixel size that is just right. Hello, how are you? The AOC Q27P1 is a reasonable priced 27-inch widescreen monitor with Quad HD resolution, that is 2560 by 1440 pixels. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details of the monitor, just mention a couple of things. The panel is a flat IPS panel, and by flat I mean not curved. Are curved panels any good? I never tried one. I guess if you sit at the exact right distance, your eyes don't need to refocus. But is it good? Is it the best thing since they figured out how to slice bread? When will they invent curved bread slices? That could be awesome. I should probably patent that idea. On the back there are built-in speakers. They are good enough to play the noises a computer makes during an ordinary workday, but at 2 watts each, they will not provide the best sound experience ever. I would go for external speakers or headphones, which can be connected to the headphone jack on the back of the monitor. Included in the package were cables for power, DisplayPort, HDMI and audio. Or I think there were, I actually don't remember. Too bad I didn't do an unboxing video of the Q27P1. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? Note that according to the use manual, the provided cables vary between countries and regions. Please check with the local dealer or AOC branch office for confirmation. But I do know there was this CD with user guide, driver and additional software, which also can be found on the AOC website. I haven't tried the software, so I don't know if it's worth the effort to install. One notable feature is the USB hub. It supports USB 3.1, but that requires this abomination, which turns out to be a USB 3 Type B connector. It's the first time I see this type of connector. Anyway, it feels like USB-C would have been a more natural choice. The top USB port, which is yellow, can provide fast charging, or at least faster charging. It also provides power when the monitor is in standby, even if the computer is turned off. But the other ports do not deliver enough power to satisfy my Samsung, unless the computer is turned on. But less demanding devices can actually be charged. The space is tight, making it difficult to unplug the cables, so you typically don't want to connect and disconnect cables on a regular basis. The main purpose of a computer monitor is to display computer stuff. There are several ways to connect the Q27P1, either with DisplayPort, which makes sense, or HDMI, which also makes sense, or DVI, which kinda makes sense, or VGA, which doesn't make sense at all. Both DisplayPort and HDMI can use the native resolution of the monitor without any issues. But when it comes to DVI, a dual link cable, not a single link, must be used. Here's how you can tell the difference between a single and a dual link cable. On a single link, the middle pins on the connector are missing. If you connect this cable, the resolution will be 1920 by 1080, but upscaled to Quad HD, and that does not look good. I wouldn't recommend it. However, with the dual link cable, you're good to go. And that brings us to the VGA connector. According to the use manual, 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hz is the optimal preset resolution for VGA. Without going into any details, there's always a risk of more or less subtle flicker due to the nature of analog signals. This in turn can be straining on the eyes. And even if VGA ports are still quite common, note that not all graphics cards support QHD resolution on the VGA port. And even if they do, there's a risk that the operating system suppresses the higher resolution in favor of the optimal 1920 by 1080. So connecting the monitor with a VGA cable will most likely mean get the upscaled image combined with the inferior analog signal. That is the worst of both worlds. If you do need to use a VGA cable, I would recommend getting a monitor with lower resolution. It's probably cheaper and the picture will look much better. So AOC, I wonder, why did you add a VGA port in the first place? Come on AOC, it's totally useless. I mean, come on. I would say that the monitor stand is above average. The height can be adjusted by 11 centimeters. It can tilt and almost do a full 360. But wait, there's more. It can also pivot. In order to pivot the monitor, it must first be tilted, otherwise it doesn't run free from the stand. I've always wanted a monitor that could pivot, but now that I finally have one, I don't use it. I think it's partly due to the aspect ratio and the resolution. With Quad HD, there's not the same need for higher vertical resolution. Also, the sheer size of a 27-inch display makes it ridiculously high when it's pivoted. Although I do think there are occasions when it might be useful. For most people, there's really no need to pivot this monitor. A side note on the pivot function. Make sure that the display is straight when editing photos, or you might, like I have, end up straightening photos that didn't need it. Yeah, fun times. It's easy to remove the stand. Just press the button and lift. Underneath you'll find the screw holes for the VESA mount, but the large bracket will not fit since the mount is recessed. The settings of the monitor can be changed with the provided software, or you can use the buttons in front. Turn off the echo whatever it's called mode. I don't know what it does, except it makes the image quality bad. As you can see here, on the left DPS is turned on the right it's turned off. The transition from black to blue takes about half a second and it's quite noticeable. Here's an instant replay for your viewing amusement. I find it slow to wake up from standby. It might not be that noticeable unless it's next to a faster monitor. The main reason for getting this monitor is the resolution. 2560 by 1440 is big enough for having two applications side by side. And depending on your preferences, 27 inches might be just right. I'm a casual gamer and rely more on luck than skill. So for me this monitor is okay for gaming. There is a hint of ghosting, but no worse than you would see on other office-oriented displays. But it's not aimed for serious gamers, as indicated by the maximum refresh rate of 60 Hz. In conclusion, the stand is highly adjustable. The Quad HD resolution makes it suitable for office use. The IPS panel provides good color, and you can even use it for gaming if you don't have too high demands. And as always, thank you for watching. Note to self, only review small things.